Peace to the family. Page, page, page. Peace, love, and light. Get this shirt together. Let me get these buttons together. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know y'all on your TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Well, thank God then. Right? Thank God that it's Friday. We in here. Made it to Friday. All praises due. Peace, God. Today is Friday. Friday is governed by the planet Venus. And the planet Venus coincides with the element of copper. Right? So today we got on our copper, you know what I'm saying? And we rocking green. Because the color of the day, the color of Venus is green, and the element is copper. Yeah, so, just in case you wanted to align yourself with the planetary energy of what the day represents, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get that copper going. You feel me? This is also a very telling time because we are going through seasonal change, right? So we're on the cusp of moving from Virgo into Libra, right? The balancing of the scales. I want to show y'all something to show you that there's Gregorian calendar time, right? And then there's astrological time. And astrological time operates totally different than Gregorian calendar time. Now, it's a very thin line between the two, and they're separated by some very small metrics. But there still is some clear identifiable markers that shows you that when it comes to time, time is a measurement. So you can come very close to the mark and miss it. Time is precise. So astrologically, the universe is showing you when Libra begins. The Gregorian calendar is saying something else, and that's just based on, yearly metrics, right? But the planets and the cosmos, things are moving, and mathematics is a perfect science. But if we don't apply math to our systems, you know what I'm saying, we're always going to be using faulty information. So the Gregorian calendar and the colonizer who operates on them, he operates on faulty systems and he operates on false time. You know what I'm saying? And he has you doing the same. But now, as students of the galaxy, as students of the cosmos, we have the ability to do right. Right? If we so choose to do right, we have the ability to do so. Last night was an amazing night at the Royal Chamber. We didn't kick off those Chakra Thursdays last night. That's going to be October 6th. We have two strongs to go until we get to Throat Chakra Thursdays. But it was amazing turnout nonetheless. It was some amazing energy that pulled up in there yesterday, I must admit. This venture is not even a month old, officially from being grand opened. We grand opened on 9/9. We grand opened on 9/9, a day after the Royal kicked the bucket. And it's been up ever since, you know what I'm saying? Now, I kid you not, it's a learning process because I don't necessarily have a background per se in this. But it's teaching me a lot. It's teaching me a lot about myself. It's teaching me a lot about, staffing and help and people's thresholds, right? And even it's giving me an ability just to even observe this phenomenon called quiet quitting, where people just feel like they could just do enough, you know what I'm saying, and not really go to tilt. And because of like how we were forced to adapt as creatives, as entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying, as people that wasn't necessarily like, contrary to popular belief, nobody opened doors for us. If anything, they closed them, either because of our associations, you know what I'm saying, or just the information that we was bringing at the time. You know, it wasn't something that coincided with everybody's, agenda or their propaganda. So we got blocked out of a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And to this day, I still believe that we are being blocked out of a lot of things. So the way that we go about, gaining traction is different. It is sometimes we got to take the guerrilla approach to do things because the support, you know what I mean? It don't be there. It looks like it on the surface, but it's anything but that. You feel me? At times, it's anything but that. So we have to utilize a lot of unorthodox methods to gain tractions, you know what I'm saying, to garner a level of visibility to get whatever our agenda is out. So when you operating on zero budget, not a low budget, but no budget, you feel me? You have to find ways to maximize, you know what I'm saying, your potentials. You have to you got to find ways, you know what I'm saying? So what you often end up doing is that you work overboard, you work overtime, you do more than is expected of you to do. You do everything but quiet quitting, right? When you're attempting to catch up, when you're attempting to scale, when you're attempting even to set a foundation and there's no support in that particular place, you got to go ballistic. You got to do the job of 3 or 4 or 5 people sometimes until you get the necessary staff and the intel put in place that people can do what they say that they do. And that's what I am experiencing. Motherfuckers will have these elaborate titles, right? They'll give you a resume with all of these things that they say that they do expertly, right? They want to get paid for doing these particular job titles expertly. And then you ask them to do the thing that they advertise themselves as being a master of doing, and they cannot do that. You know what I'm saying? And then the shit be like, well, what's going on here? Like, am I in a twilight zone? Like, how can you advertise yourself as being an expert or master of something, and then when you're asked to do it, you can't execute it even at the rudimentary level, let alone at a mastership? So there's so many aspects to what's going on, what they call quiet quitting. There's quiet quitting. There's people who, are just going to show up to your business and not give you 100%. And then there's people that just all around fronting. You know what I'm saying? Saying that they do something and that's not what they do. So yesterday I got to link up with this good brother. This is mango juice. I ain't sipping or tripping on nothing. This brother here, he does fronts, he does grills, and he's a jeweler. He does a bunch of different jewelry. So his company is called Royal Teeth. So we got him to come down to the Royal Chamber yesterday, and he gave me my grill. I don't know if y'all can see it. Hold on. This grill here, these are opals with lapis lazuli on the fangs. You know what I'm saying? He made me a grill that got the opals in the middle, cause I love opals. You know what I'm saying? And I got the lapis lazulis on the end. You feel me? Now, he said that this is what he do. He said, look, I'm a jeweler. I'm an expert in my field. I do what I do. I gave him the opportunity to show me that he does what he says that he does. That's all we looking for. It's like, yo, if you say that you do something, show up in that. You know what I'm saying? Don't show up doing something that somebody else do. Show up doing what it is that you say that you do. This is your name is hanging on that. Your legacy is attached to that. Your children's mouth is a funnel connected to that because they like, feed me, feed me, feed me. You got to be able to go out here in the world and do the shit that you say that you do in order to feed yourself, your children, your progeny. It's just too late for people to be fronting just to be carrying titles, and you don't do that shit that you say that you do. You grown, like you whatever age you are. You feel me? You like whatever age that you are, and you not doing what it is that you say that you do. You know what I'm saying? So my new motto is like, I can't trust you if you can't trust yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you trusting yourself is like, if I say something out of this thing right here, I'm fucking indebted to follow through with this thing. Because whatever comes out of this mouth is still attached to me. And my failure to do the things that I'm saying that I'm about to do or that I do, it fucks with this. Like, it's going to destroy this vessel ultimately. And it's going to put me in a precarious place where I don't have that protection no more, because the universe is going to be like, man, you bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So your word is your bond. You're bonded by the word that you're speaking. You're bonded by that. You know what I'm saying? You're formulating and forging bonds. You know, if you could look at it like a molecular level, there's a atom and it has a arm on it, and that's like and then that arm connects to another arm that's connected to an atom, and those two arms create a bond. Now you got a molecule. You know what I'm saying? And then those bonds are now connected. You know, your word is the same way. You saying something and you're creating an invisible bond, and it's looking to be bonded with the thing that you're saying. You know, it's going to magnetize that thing to it. And your failure to honor that bond, you feel me? Your failure to honor that bond is going to destroy that thing. And that energy is going to come back to you, and it's going to resonate and reverberate, and it's going to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't got the best teeth either. So bro, he's a dental hygienist. So I'm going to get my jibs fixed. You know, I never really had this gap in my teeth, but I don't have the best teeth, I think, right now. You know? So I'm getting my teeth fixed and cleaned up. But in the meantime, I had to get these opals, you know what I'm saying, with these lapis lazulis in the fangs, because I really, you know, I always wanted it. And I love opals, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get braces on my bottoms eventually to get them in alignment. I don't like how they jagged it. But in the meantime, you know, I put these fronts on them because I'm fronting. But his company is called the Royal Teeth. I tagged him in the post last night. You can see it on my page. Royal Teeth Company, Royal Teeth. Just put Royal Teeth in the tag. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Until I get my shits fixed, you know, I'm fronting. But this is a choice that I've made. I always wanted to get my bottoms back. When I was like 15 or something like that, I had gold teeth in the top. I had gold on the bottom. I had a bunch of gold in my mouth. I had diamonds in my teeth. You know, I did all that stuff in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? And there's been a resurgence of it. I'm going to show y'all again. Look, and you never lied. And because I don't have the greatest, you know, because everybody got perfect teeth out here, my shit still got curves in it. It's still jagged. So because I don't have the best teeth, I'm not going to attempt to utilize my intellect to be dismissive of the importance of teeth health as it pertains to overall health. No, I'm going to tell you in no uncertain terms that teeth health is a clear indicator of overall health. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna lie to you. Just because I don't got the best teeth, I don't want to appear as if I'm the most healthiest person. Maybe because I'm not. But I'm conscientious of it, you know. These opals and shit, when you put light on them, they start turning iridescence, you know. And then this lapis lazuli, it got chips, they got chips around it. Let me see if I can switch to this camera. This camera might be a little bit better. But yeah, these joints got diamond chips around them. You know what I'm saying? With the lapis on them, with the opal inside of them. You know, that shit wavy, man. That shit is wavy. You know? Just allow me a little bit of time to have a little bit of fun. You feel me? I got the opals in my teeth. That's different. Teeth phase. You know? So, you know, I made a yeah, and today is green, right? Today is the day of Venus, so we wear copper on Fridays. You know what I'm saying? We wear copper and we wear the color green in honor of the planet Venus. Hence the fact that today is, you know, the holiest day of Islam. And Islam's color is green. You know what I'm saying? Because as you know, they are pretty much in alignment with the stars and the moons and, you know, and the cosmos. So the first sighting of the eastern star after the beginning of spring, that signals Ramadan. So they're very much a astrological religion who are tethered around the planet Venus. And Saturn. So, Islam, happy holy day to all of the Muslims out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so green. So I want to talk about this. Yeah, Royal Teeth. That's my guy's IG handle. I'll put the exact handle and everything down. You know, after the when I save this live, I'll put that. You know what I mean? I put that. No, I'm not drinking H320. I'm drinking mango juice. This is mango juice. Right. All right. Somebody said, explain inshallah. I say Saturn as well because they circumnavigate around the Kaaba. And the Kaaba is a black cube. And anything dealing with cubes, right? Any religion that deals directly with the cube is dealing with Saturn. Okay? And case in point, you know, all planets have particular geometric, right? They have geometric symmetry that denotes that planet is that particular planet. So Saturn is denoted for its hexagonal poles, right? There's hexagons at the poles of Saturn. Whereas they're now seeing that Pluto is dealing with polygons, right? The geometry of polygons. They just found a new form of water. In the water that they found, it's a difference of hexagons versus, God damn it, I'll look it up. I just got this article the other day and I was doing the knowledge on it, but it's just a tweak. It's just a 1 degree tweak, right? 5s and 6s, looking at hexagons as opposed to pentagons. You know what I'm saying? And what a hexagon can do as opposed to a pentagon when it comes to storing of energy. There's no better geometric form in the universe that stores energy and converts it like a hexagon. You feel me? Hence the fact that we ourselves, melanated people, right? We're carbonated people. Carbon is a hexagon. You feel me? So, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all acknowledge the cube, the black cube, right? All of the black cube is tied into the crux of the the centerpieces of that particular religion. Hence the fact that when a cross is just a cube open, when you open a cube and you spread it out, it's a cross, right? I'll show this to you in a second. We know that they circumambulate, right? Or circumnavigate, should I say, around the Kaaba 7 times, a black cube. And we also know that the Sabbath, which is Saturday, deals with Saturn's day. And, where I lived in New York, we will always see the Hasidics with the black cube on their crown. You feel me? Making homage or honoring the planet Saturn. You also would see them with the black furry hats that look like the ring of Saturn. And you also catch them in all black. Again, hence the fact that they are acknowledging Saturn, which is Saturday, which is where you wear black on Saturday. Hence the fact that the band is called Black Sabbath for a reason. You feel me? This is the science to all of that. So the black cube, or the cube for that matter, is the centerpiece of all 3 religions. Right? All 3 religions. At the center of all 3 religions is the black cube. Right? So they're very much hexagonal, as they would be. Right? But we also denote the fact that we know that the number 5, specifically resonates strong with Islam. Again, that's the connection to the day Friday and the planet Venus. Okay? I'm trying to pull this for y'all just to show you. So nobody thinks that, I'm dealing with any sacrilege. I ain't coming for nobody's thing, nobody's religion. I'm just making a note. And once you can see it for what it is, then it'll help you. It'll help you out. Right? This is 9/11. This is the whole, ritualistic portal that they got set up down there at the World Trade Center. How they are paying homage to so many different things simultaneously, right? Compass Center Square. I mean, oh my God, they got it all down there. And I got footage of this stuff. I'll show it to you one day. Jesus, I've never seen such a heavy ritualistic sight in my life. Not in this lifetime, at least. Right? World Trade Center, forget about it. Woo! They got that thing cubed up. And Judaism is tied into such a centerpiece of that particular esoteric demonstration. You couldn't shake that if you tried. Because it's all there. It's all in plain sight. You just got to know what you're looking at in order to properly decode it. But it's all in plain sight. They not trying to hide nothing. If anything, they're attempting to be as open as possible. Right? Because the ritual is even that much more stronger when you could be as open as possible. But let's get you some more information. Because that might not do nothing for you. A lot of people never even been to World Trade Center, let alone understand the dynamics of how that thing works. The renewal of the fear campaign, the terror campaign that's represented every single year by 9/11, when the bells toll and you're reminded that you're not safe or secure, and the people that's responsible for your security is running and hiding from people hanging out in mountains. But yeah, again, I don't know, this might be too much. I don't know if you could put together all the context clues that's being shown to you. I'm gonna have to be a little bit more visual. But you know, the concept of quiet quitting is a very interesting thing. You know what I'm saying? And I started talking about this the other night. We did a clubhouse and we were talking about the quiet quitting of leadership, you know. And I was talking about this with Keys on the live we did the other day. You know, the community suffering from quiet quitting of leadership. You know, the people come under the guise of leadership in this community and they give the people nothing, right? In comparison, like let's take a masterful leader like our brother, Dr. York. Think about how much he gave. Think about the demonstrations, the continuous leveling up. You know what I'm saying? That this master teacher had for his community. He put an economic, you know, engine into play. You know what I'm saying? He gave people somewhere to domicile. He gave them a continuous access to information to level up their consciousness, right? He allowed them to embody these particular principles. He was actually leading them, right? He was walking with them. He was taking them places. Like, what the hell does leadership have to offer today in comparison in terms of the full-scale demonstration that's needed for them to see themselves or to see this thing for what it is? And this thing is so observable, like you could see it for what it is nowadays. Feel me? Right? There goes your cross, there goes your box. There's nothing else really to explain other than the fuck do you, like, nigga, they got you in the box. Right? They got you in the box. If you are an organized religion to some respects, unless you understand the esoteric elements of that said religion, you're in a box. Because you have not been given the keys necessary for you to get out of the box. And, you know, willfully come back into it whenever you so choose. Because you want to play the people game on planet Earth. This shit is a box. And not only is it a box, it's a box within a box. It's a tesseract. You feel me? And you're not wiggling out of that just because you choose to. Just because you woke up today and you figured, I don't want to be in the Matrix. Nigga, it does not work like that. It don't work like that. You're going to have to become a little bit more intentional. You're going to have to change a whole lot about yourself and your surroundings and how you relate to, you know, what's considered to be reality. Like, what do you utilize for your coordinates, your GPS coordinates to say that I'm here in time and space? You know, if the things that you're utilizing for your coordinates to signal to yourself where you're at in time and space, if those things that you're using are like the clock and the calendar that was given to you by the colonizer, then I would beg to differ. I would say that, yeah, you're very much still in the Matrix. You know what I mean? Because you need a certain level of coordinates to get up out of there. You need your own clock. You need your own calendar. You feel me? You need your own clock and you need your own calendar, because those two things is what is utilized by the Matrix to lock you down. Because you cannot be separate of a system that you utilize on in order to gauge where you're at in time and space. Especially if that particular system is artificial. So time, their construct of time is artificial. It's not that time is not real. It's the construct of time. The way that they have constructed time, time is not real. The calendar, forget about it. The calendar is totally made up. You know what I'm saying? So what do we mean by time is not real, right? Case in point, like I've been showing you, look at the watch. right? Look at the watch. This is how time's supposed to move counterclockwise. You feel me? Well, this watch is on a whole nother time. But if it was properly set, right, it would move counterclockwise, like everything else in this reality does. The only thing that's moving clockwise is the clock. It moves against natural time. So counterclockwise, the way that the watch supposed to move, is going to activate different parts of your brain when you are observing time and you're reading from right to left, right? Your spiral is going like this as opposed to your spiral going like that. Nothing spirals like this. Spiraling takes place like this, and then you get up out of here. They got you spin. Your spin orientation is the wrong way. The way that your brain operates is backwards. You feel me? And then we'll look at the calendar and we'll see this marvel of time to say, wow, this is cool. How did they figure this one out? Astrological time says that the equinox, right, which is what we're supposed to be moving into, what day did they tell you is this fall start, right? Look at astrological time, because moving into Libra is the scales, it's balance, it's ma'at. Look how the universe is going to show up on Monday. The same time the sun comes up is the same time that the sun goes down. If that's not astrologically balanced, if that's not ma'at, my nigga, I don't know what is. And not only that, when you understand the science of 722 is also a derivative of what's called pi. So pi is when you create a circle, a point and a line, you separate it by the diameter, right? And that's what this represents, right? This is going to be a pi day on Moon Day or Monday. And then the way that you are signaling to yourself when you say words like, oh, today is September, whatever today is, 23rd, right? The sept, when your brain hears sept, your brain sees 7. When your brain hears oct, your brain sees 8. When your brain hears nov, your brain sees 9. But then you're telling your brain, no, it's 11. Your brain is like, no, it's 9, nigga. I know how to motherfucking decipher what this word means. So you are participating in a level of perpetual cognitive dissonance by utilizing these people's backwards time, the backwards calendar. They got you lying to yourself. You know what sept means. You know what oct means. What is an octagon? Is it not 8? What is a decimal? Is it not 10? So to coincide with astrological time, when you say September, you're also saying 7. So on 7/22, or at 7/22, which is pi, on Monday, which is going to be September 26th, and 26 being the number of God. They said God has a number in the Bible. God's number in the Bible is 26. Yod, hey, vow, hey, right? Yahweh. YHVH, right? The tetragrammaton, the 4-letter name of God. Now, I know that I'm not telling you fucking Christians nothing that you don't know. Or you Jews or Hebrews or whoever is tapping into this live. And in my Muslim family, you need to know this too. Because Allah has a number as well. Do you know what Allah's number is? And it's not 99, but it's close. Do you know what Allah's number is? I wish I had the Jeopardy music queued up. What is Allah's number? It's not Allah's number. No. 19 is the number of Islam, but not Allah. Right? So, yeah. Queen Kashmir, you hit it on the head. It is 66. Yeah, it's 66. Right? And they flip it because the 66 could be flipped to say, oh, the 99 names of Allah. But it's 66 in Gematria. Right? It equals 66. Yahweh equals 26. Feel me? And Jesus is 444. All day. All day. Right? So some very, very interesting things taking place that I wanted to make an observation of and touch on, before they clip this live. And it coincides again with this conversation around quiet quitting. It's affecting every corridor of reality, of civilization, of all of these things. Oh, this is different. Decomposing human remains could be legally used as compost. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in California, but Cali be on some other shit under Newsom. He's a whole different type of he's a whole different type of plant. But we'll talk about that another time. Quiet quitting. The Navy or the military, right? The entire arm of the military is saying that they're having problems recruiting, right? Quiet quitting has become such an embedded part of our reality that the military is no longer able to find the necessary recruits to fulfill their quotas. So we're living in a country that is, by way of its leadership, decrepit. It's very old. You know what I'm saying? And it's falling apart. And their recruiting efforts amongst young people, they're no longer effective with recruiting the young blood of this country to conscript them to serve in the military. And this country is headed towards war, whether you want to believe that or not, right? Whether it's a civil war or whether it's something that's going to be an overseas war. Because this is another pillar prophecy that has come to pass. Let me put this down here and y'all could go telling niggas to be asking, like, what's the Pope Pablo thing about? Be like, well, if he called himself God, then you niggas would really be in your feelings because, you guys always tell us that we're God. I could be God, but I can't be the Pope. I've never really understood that, but that's neither here nor there. Right? So let's go back to another pillar prophecy that I've been speaking about for a minute, and it's come to pass. Well, it's about to come to pass. And I wish that it would be a different outcome, but reading the metrics, reading the numbers, reading everything that's being told to us, right? We know that Russia has to lose this war. Right? Because that's based on the metrics, the cosmic metrics of what we're looking at and what's about to take place, right? Russia's going to lose. But Russia can't lose. Russia's almost like Bank of America. They're too big to fail. Because the failure of Russia creates a vacuum. Now we're talking geopolitics. You know what I'm saying? And again, if we're going to take our rightful place on the planet, not just our rightful place in this country or this fucking community, I'm talking about in this cosmos. If we're taking our rightful place in the cosmos, then we have to understand the planet, the geopolitics of the planet as a chessboard. Because when one thing gonna go down, it's gonna give you a very small window for something else to come up. You feel me? When one thing goes down, it's going to give you a very small opportunity for one thing to go up. And it does not serve us to sit by and watch other people play this political drama out, and we're just on the sidelines not knowing what's taking place, right? So what's taking place is that Russia, as I have predicted since February, why? Because I'm like, look, I'm reading the signs. Even if to you they might be intangible, even if to you they might be blurry and you don't get it, I'm like, nigga, Ukraine got the same colors as the LA Rams. And the fact that they started that motherfucking, that 44 war right after the 44 Super Bowl, I'm telling you what I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, okay. Ukraine is the underdog. They're going to win this war. They have to bring about something cosmological that's called the Cross of the Phoenix, right? And the Cross of the Phoenix is a galactic event that's going to happen in 2027, which is going to change humanity from being 9-center beings, because we haven't been 7-center beings. The shit that niggas be talking about, myself included, with the 7 chakras, that's old information. That shit been so old. It's been old for a long time. It's been so old that by the time niggas catch up on how old it is, it's about time for us to jump to becoming 12-center beings. And that's not going to happen without a catastrophic fallout, right? Because it has to change the background frequency of the entire galaxy. That's going to happen when these niggas go nuclear, right? So Russia has to save face, because a loss of Russia, right, creates such a political vacuum in the globe geopolitically, that the vultures that will be circling to pick the bones of a defeated Russia is going to change the entire landscape. Russia losing, right, makes them food for the rest of Europe. Right? Russia losing is going to make them food for the rest of Europe and the rest of the world. Russia can't fail. So it's going to have to go nuclear, because it's getting its butt whipped in Ukraine, and it has to save face. You feel me? So this is something that's going to happen, because they're not even able to recruit anymore. He put out a soft draft the other day, and he destroyed himself on a geopolitical stage, because what happened is all his enemies, all of the political pundits, all of the military experts, they know exactly what this means. It means that he's losing the war and he has to save face. He's putting a draft out that's not going to work. So what is his desperation going to lead to? Right? His desperation, unless he gets killed and assassinated by his own inner circle, the desperation is going to lead to him possibly, as he's already threatening nuclear war. But what is desperation going to possibly lead to? These white men with these mentalities that very much seem to be deteriorating. Trump looked like his brain ain't too right. We already know what Biden is giving, right? Putin the same way. Their neurological balance doesn't seem to necessarily be there. And these people, they're the head of government. They're the face of the continuation of what white supremacy might look like in this world. Think about King Charles and how old and decrepit he looks. These are the faces of what the control of the power of the old world order looks like. And they're standing in front of you, attempting to, package themselves as the new world order. The recruitment efforts in Russia have failed, right? They're not even able to call up available bodies to fight their wars. People are fleeing the country at a record pace, at a record number, right? The U.S. is having extreme issues with their recruitment efforts. They said that they have failed all quotas, all expected quotas when it comes to recruitment, right? They've horribly failed. They said it hasn't been this worse recruiting since the Vietnam War. You feel me? So you have Russia unable to recruit their youth population. You have America, whose youth population is quiet quitting. They don't want to have nothing to do with the military. You know what I'm saying? And then you have China forcing their youth, to not play video games. They don't want them to be girly men, they said. So, They're doing something with their youth population, but their youth population, as you can tell, or you might see, just like in Iran, all of these youth populations are rebelling against the old world order. You feel me? The only place that that's not necessarily taking place is in the U.S. Now, the way that they're rebelling in the U.S. is by way of apathy. They're just like, just not working. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be lazy. You feel me? I'm just resigning to laziness, and you're not gonna get out of me what you expect. You know what I mean? So look, it's two things. They're saying that the younger population, they not going for the GI Bill shit no more, right? That's worn off. You feel me? They're saying that the military leaders don't have a plan of action in terms of a solution. They didn't even present to them to say, oh, this is what we need to do to turn the tides. They like, look, we resigned to failure. This is very, very severe at a place in time in this country when so many things are changing geopolitically outside of the borders, but also inside the borders. They're threatening civil war. So they're like, they have stretched out the National Guard, right? The recruitment levels of the National Guard ain't working. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the education factor, right, is dismal, and they said the overall health of the potential pool, right, of resources, of bodies that they want to pull from. They say overall health problems drying up an already small pool of Americans who physically qualify for enlistment. So obesity is an issue. What they call pre-existing conditions is an issue. The sedentary nature of the American during COVID-19 has become an issue, right? They're not ready to fight no fights. Right? They don't have the personnel, but they blowing smoke and telling you different. Nigga, like, they can't get their thing up. Right? CIA, they said that their recruitment efforts have stalled. You feel me? The CIA is not even properly recruiting anymore. They can't get nobody to sign up. So now they got to come out from behind the shadows and do podcasts. Right? They got to seem cool. They got to seem hip. They got to get out here and tell lies to get people interested in what they're selling. Right? The goal of the podcast, according to a CIA spokesman, is to provide a bit more transparency into an agency premised on secrecy. The Langley Files is a major milestone for CIA as the agency marks its 75th anniversary. It's the latest in CIA's ongoing efforts to be as open as possible with the public, sharing what we know about our mission, people, and history. That's where we at, y'all. Right? Shit looking spooky out here. Feel me? Right? So, yeah. So, this is what the pundits are speculating. This is their best deterrent to a Putin who has been, seemingly going crazy. And we know how his identity is caught up in his hypermasculinity. He can't afford to lose. That failure might be a blow to his manhood to a degree where, attempting to save face, this person might go nuclear. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to change the dynamics of everything on this planet. Everything, right? But what do we as a people, what do we have in place as a contingency if this thing goes left, right? And they start attempting to call people up to go into service because the U.S. can't recruit military either. So they will have to implement a draft. What are we going to do, right? What are our contingency plans? Even in their time of war, what's our contingency plans for a time of peace? Because we could take the opportunity to go somewhere and just be building, right? And overemphasizing the need and the necessity to start farming and feeding ourselves right now. Shout out to the Facts Initiative. right? And what that represents in regards in terms of a solution, a real time solution. Being able to come from city to city and town to town, especially the small towns. And the reason why the small towns are so key and vital because these are the places that they primarily are going to be recruiting from. You know what I'm saying? These are the places that they recruit from, these small towns. And they said it in the report. They said that because of C-19 school closures prevented their recruitment efforts. They're reliant on having the recruitment offices in high schools to recruit, children straight out of high school to go into the service, and they finesse them with the GI Bill. And they said that the children is no longer buying into that, right? They no longer buying into that. So their recruitment efforts have stalled. Feel me? So this is the next thing that's coming, right? This is coming for Thanksgiving, right? The bird flu has resurged, right? Turkey supplies and chicken eggs is going off the charts. This reminds me of 2017 after they had a hurricane in September of 2017. This hurricane was during the whole hurricane season when Maria and the rest of them was smacking the Caribbean. All of the Catholic-dominated regions like they're getting smacked now. Puerto Rico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, right? St. Croix as well, because St. Croix means Holy Cross, right? All of them places got smacked in 2017 after the start of the hurricane cycle that started around August 28th with Hurricane Harvey, when they said it dropped 1 trillion gallons of water over Houston in an hour and some change of biblical proportions. So that there was that season, that hurricane season, a hurricane was supposed to hit Miami, but it went up the west side of Florida, right? And it hit North Carolina where the pig farms was at. Okay? And it destroyed the pig farms, and all of the waste from the pig farm, right, spilled down, and they had salmonella poisoning. So they were telling you about romaine lettuce and vegetables, but they never told you what they did to them pigs that died during the hurricane. So what happened with the pigs during the hurricane, they ground that pig up and they sold some of that meat to China. In my belief, this becomes the impetus or the ground of where C-19 ultimately came from, was from that contaminated meat. And Fort Braggs or whatever that goddamn base is in North Carolina, they were doing biomedical experimentation with those pigs, and they were sending them to Wuhan as well. Right? Shout out to Gary Knoll for reporting on that. But the same way that they were able to grind all of that bad meat up and still sell it to melanated poor people in particular, right? It's the same way that you would have to believe that they're going to do at Fort Bragg, that they're going to do with these turkeys, right? They've created a crisis in the food supply chain, all up and down the food supply chain. This didn't even need to happen for there to be a major disruption in the food supply chain that you're going to feel it in your pocketbook come this Thanksgiving. But now, forget about it. With them working and finessing these turkeys, you feel me? With them finessing these turkeys, people are going to have to pay out the yin-yang, right? And you know that you need eggs to make all of your bakery stuff, your pies and your cakes and shit like that. Yeah, forget about it. I could do a whole report of the research that I've been doing about the soldiers coming out of Fort Bragg and you know that Raleigh-Durham area, right? Oh, okay. So this is what I wanted to say. That they reported this on the last page, and again, as a journalist, you know that there's just certain things in journalism that's a no-no that you're just not supposed to do. You're supposed to end off your reporting in a way that is conclusive. And the way that they ended this reporting, it was very non-conclusive. You know what I'm saying? It was very non-conclusive. And I have a tendency to think that the non-conclusive part of their investigation or their reporting, that's the part that really, hits the hardest. You feel me? Because this is the shit that they really, you know, this is the shit that they got their brains wrapped around that they're not speaking about in public. So what they're not speaking about in public, right, is that the biggest suicide rate in this country is military personnel. And the biggest suicide rate in this country amongst military personnel is military women. And the biggest suicide rate in this country amongst military personnel who happen to be women are ex-women military personnel, right? Who have come back from service, whether they have been abroad or whether they have been on these bases, right? And they have been dealing with the rape culture of the military, and the military has suppressed their cries for help. And what they have done is they've inundated them with pharmaceuticals, with drugs, right? And what they're not reporting about these psychotropic drugs that they're taking, dealing with their PTSD, is that these drugs, right, are exasperating, the conditions that they feel they need to take their lives under these particular conditions because they don't want to live with themselves and nobody in the government is willing to help them. That's what's going on, right? So, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and nobody's talking about this, of course, 22 a day kill themselves, women, because of the nasty shit that these military personnel, the men in this military, have brought back their nasty ass ways that they take to every other country and rape and pillage, and they're not eating their own. They're eating their own at an unprecedented rate, and these women are killing themselves because they can't live with the horrors that have been handed to them by the hands of the military personnel to represent you abroad. So you have no idea what these niggas is doing in other countries with people's mothers and daughters and grandmothers and babies. It's that bad. Right? And I don't disagree with that either. I don't know of a woman's place in the military, even though you have to understand that warfare is feminine, period. Soldiers are masculine, diplomacy is masculine, but warfare as an entity, it exists on the left side of the tree of life, which is all the feminine side. Hence the fact when you take your dollar bill out, take your dollars out, right? I don't got none in my pocket. And when you look at when you flip it over, you look at the falcon on the back, right? The left side of the falcon holds the arrows. The left side of the falcon, or the eagle, the left side of the falcon, the feminine side of the falcon holds the arrows, right? Warfare is feminine in nature. Please be fucking clear with that, okay? But, they're not taking care of these women. You feel me? They're killing themselves. But look, y'all, that's my time. I got a minute remaining to this live. I want to save it. Peace, love, and light, y'all. The Royal Chamber will be open today at 5 o'clock. We got all kind of treats for y'all. Pull up. 49 Bennett Street, second floor. 5 to about 12 or maybe 1 tonight. We went to like 2 last night. So